Big hugs, everyone, and welcome to Pass the Mic. Today, we have an incredible woman that's on a journey to lift and shift the way we learn, the way we expand our life. Today, I'm going to introduce you to Renee, Beth Poindexter, and we're going to take a journey with her on education and the soul of technology. Don't go away. Welcome back to Pass the Mic, and as I said, we have the one and only Renee Beth Poindexter. Say hello to the world, Renee.
It's so great to be with you, Gino. Hello, world.
This is an amazing woman, but before we get to that, what's our song today?
Our song is a famous song from Joni Mitchell, the one that she would have sung if she was at Woodstock, but she wasn't at Woodstock. She couldn't get there, but it's a beautiful song called Back to the Garden. I mean, I call it Back to the Garden, but it's actually a Woodstock song.
Okay, all right. We are stardust. We are golden. We got to get our way back to the garden. I love it. I love it.
Wow, I get chills on that song.
That is an awesome song. So today, the journey that we're taking is in education, is in entrepreneurs. It's in how we're living. How did you get started on this journey?
Oh. Well, let's see. I tell the story in my book, Living the Potential, Engaging the Wisdom of Our Youth to Save the World. And actually the book came through me, and it's actually my story of how we all are born into a family. We go to school. We make 14,000 hours, actually. You know, when you think about it, it all adds up. And I realized somewhere, you know, that the best thing I could do, what I wanted to do, was be a teacher.
Okay.
So I became a teacher in Ohio.
Oh.
I taught high school English.
That had to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was great.
Please don't grade me. I would get an F.
Right, but for 6 years I did it, and I loved the kids. It was pretty much an alternative school, a school without walls. It was really doing some cool stuff, team teaching and all kinds of stuff. But I had 180 students and 6 classes and 4 preps and drill team and swim coach, and you know, there's just a lot of things that I love the kids, but it just seemed like what the teachers were expected to do, and I felt responsible that every single kid would learn to find their voice, be able to write, speak with confidence, get to know themselves. Well, that's a little difficult when you have 180 students and 6 classes and 1 teacher.
Well, great teachers feel that way. That's one of the things I love about teachers. I mean, we have got to learn, and when I say we, our community, the world, the importance of wisdom, insight. That's what's creating what's to come. How to support that better, you know, how to support that better. So Living the Potential, you can get this on Amazon, you can get this.
Yeah, on Amazon. Actually, or you know,
your website.
Website.
We'll have those links below, but I want you to take a look at this. I'm going to jump a little bit because I read your mission statement here, and I thought it was fantastic. My mission is to connect entrepreneurial parents, growth-minded teachers, and forward-thinking businesses to engage the wisdom of our youth and work together to save the world.
Exactly.
I mean, reading through some of the book, what impressed me was that it wasn't just about school, that it is combining all of our community to come together.
Absolutely. Well, actually, learning is for life. You know, learning is different than schooling, because you can ask any youth, actually, probably after 3rd or 4th grade, what they love to do best. They're going to tell you recess.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they get to be themselves on the playground, hopefully. But the idea is that I think we've got our paradigm in this we're in the 21st century, but the idea is we haven't really recognized that learning happens from the inside out. You know, it happens when we unfold, we emerge. There's stages of development that happen over time. And yet, our system is set up that everybody needs to learn the same thing at the same moment in time. You know, if you're 12 years old and you're in 7th grade and it's 2 o'clock and you're in math class, you got to be doing these things for that Common Core curriculum. And quite honestly, that goes against how humans unfold their genius.
Exactly.
So that's part of the problem, that for schools to change, parents and teachers have to come together and start to recognize what they know to be true. I know you teachers out there, you can see the spark,
yes,
the light inside of people.
Yes.
And when they're in that zone of who they are becoming, learning is fun. You can't stop the kids. They want to be on it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But when they're forced to learn something that they're not ready to learn or they're not interested in learning, what happens? They learn it for the test.
Yeah.
They regurgitate it on cue, and then they don't remember it, and it has no real deep meaning for their life. So I think there's a distinction between schooling and learning for life, and for their systems to change, the people need to change. And Gino, I think the parents have the power, but they don't know it, and they don't know what to do with it if they did know.
So in your book, you've actually created like steps.
Yeah.
To do. Can you briefly share with us
Sure.
what those steps
Yeah.
are? Because I'm sure, a lot of parents, most parents want their kids to succeed. And just briefly, as you said, we have a system that's set in place that is like, okay, you go to preschool, you go to kindergarten, you go into first grade.
Yeah, exactly.
And, every kid does it. And not every kid responds to the school system that we have.
Exactly.
And then now kids are getting labeled at really young ages, unable to learn, or there are disabilities. It's like, what?
Right. Well, you can't learn, in other words, they find that middle, and if you can't do what everyone else is doing, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're going to have to, and actually some of these kids are labeled troublemakers,
Yes.
or they start to shut down because they're not seen and heard for who they really are meant to be. And the teachers are overwhelmed because you've got 30 and 35 kids in a classroom. What can they do? They have to, they're responsible for the mandate of what curriculum they need to be bringing forward to the kids. And if they don't bring it forward the way the mandate is, then they're judged
Exactly.
as not being an effective teacher.
And not caring. That's the thing that gets me, that they get lumped in, and you do for sure have some teachers that phone it in. But I think most of them get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I was surprised at how many teachers had to create so much themselves and pay for things.
Right.
But that's a whole nother road.
Right, exactly.
I wanna talk about the 5 steps.
Okay, the 5 steps.
Yes.
Well, the idea is, and by the way, I came to this. I think I need to back up just a minute and say,
Okay.
how did I come to these steps? Because it's like, I started to question what the system could be if it was actually meeting the needs of the kids, but I wasn't an expert, and I didn't get it in my educational training.
Okay.
I didn't get it in the School of Education. I had to actually leave education and go into the world of business.
Okay.
So I traveled into different, luckily for me, I got involved in business development and marketing with lots of different types of companies. So I've had experience in the construction industry and the medical industry and technology industry, both software and hardware.
Oh my, all over.
And financial services. And what I started to see is in all these different environments, the way in which people get things done is through like project management. And I went, oh, this is similar to like what I was trying to do is project-based learning in school, where kids would work in teams to solve problems.
Okay.
They would look for the knowledge that they needed to solve the problem. They'd have to work together to make it happen. And I thought, you know what? I keep saying that the world that kids will be inheriting is nothing at all as the world we know it.
Right.
So how, and if Google and Wikipedia and it has the information that we need.
Yes.
So it's not so much about the curriculum, it's about the process of how do we get the knowledge that we need to solve the problems, and it's how we begin to bring in these critical thinking skills that we need, collaboration, negotiation, problem solving, decision making, working together to bring in different elements to solve the problem. So
I love that, because that not only applies to school,
it's
that applies to life.
Exactly. So when we're talking about what are my 5 steps, my 5 steps are, wait a second. If we could bring together people with different levels of knowledge, with kids, because the part of the title of the book is Living the Potential but Engaging the Wisdom of Our Youth to Save the World, because the book tells the story about a group of kids that started their own software and development company at the ages of 9 and 10. They were aged 9 and 10, and they were paid $75,000 by a major company to design a program that taught energy conservation. It was actually a game. So I was part of that team, and I thought, okay, the kids were so excited. And then they thought, well, we can do more. So they, really got excited about organizing themselves, using technology as the vehicle to organize their learning and provide value to their community and to the world at large. So the idea of okay, if we had to reorganize the learning environment to really make it more process-oriented than curriculum-oriented, where the kids can unfold from their natural discovery process, what would that look like? Well, basically, the adults, meaning the teachers and the parents, need to trust, number one.
Trust.
First step, trusting the seeds of change and what our youth can bring.
Yes.
That they have it already.
Yes.
And there's plenty of stories of examples of kids who are doing amazing things, that are bringing forth their genius and organizing movements around climate change.
Yes.
Like Greta Thunberg, the Swedish 15-year-old who was just nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize for her movement in creating protests about climate and climate change, right? 15 years old.
Yeah.
So trusting the seeds of change that youth bring. And quite honestly, I've seen most of the adults I'm working with on this, they have to really recover from their own trauma about what they think they know or don't know, and letting go, because there's a lot of fear.
There is. And, the old paradigm says that I've been here longer, I know more. But that so doesn't work. No. We've tried that, been there, done that, and okay, we got to bless that and keep moving.
Exactly. So it's a reciprocal relationship and beginning to trust. And, I've done workshops with people who go, don't kids say the darndest things?
Yes.
They're not afraid to ask the right question. So we need to start.
Or a question that sometimes we deem inappropriate, it gets to the answer.
Exactly.
We mess around 2 weeks later, finally get to that.
Exactly. So this organic learning model for life, it starts with that, trusting the seeds of change. And then the second is, once we're aware of these seeds, then we get to cultivate them. So how do we cultivate these learning environments that actually inspire learners to work together towards solving a problem? That's pretty exciting.
That's very exciting.
And there's plenty of examples of that. But then the third step is cross-pollinating the domains. Which means normally when you go to school, you're in history, and then you're in English, and then you're in math, and then you're in science. But I read something that I include in my book that I got from the Shoemaker briefings.
Okay.
It says that art leads science by 10 years. Science leads business by 10 years.
Wow.
Business leads education by 10 years. So in a linear way, we've got art over here, which is the most inspirational, intuitive, open system. Yes. But it's over here, and then education doesn't actually catch up for 30 more years.
Yes.
And the other thing is, if we know that and accept that, then art, music, dance, all of that would be at the
things
center.
That they cut first in the school. The very creativity, because so many people think it's not a value.
Exactly.
It's not a value.
Right. And see, that whole thing about separating things like that is part of the problem that holds back a lot of things. Because you even look at our healthcare system, you go to the eye doctor, the ear doctor, the foot doctor. You know what I mean? They're all these specialists. But who's looking at the whole person? So we need to cultivate these elements in order to solve the problems and better prepare the youth, because things in the real world aren't always separate, are
No,
they?
they're not. I mean, everything really is. We're all connected.
Right.
You know.
So then the fourth step is like creating regenerative and sustainable systems for long-term change.
Okay.
Because the reality is that systems need to change. We know that. The education system has to change. Our healthcare system needs to change. Our political system is in the midst of big change. But what drives change? People.
Yes.
Right? So I'm thinking if we go from the seeds to cultivating the seeds to cross-pollinating the seeds and then regenerating systems for long-term change, then we're also looking at what does technology have to do with it? It's like reaching upward and beyond with technology.
Yes.
It's the soul of technology. And that
I
came
love
through
that.
me.
Say that again.
It's like reaching upward and beyond with the soul of technology.
I love that. So many people are afraid of technology and thinking that it has no soul, that it is some type of demon running the
Well,
world.
guess what? We have the opportunity. It's like, it's a tool. So it's actually reflecting back what our thoughts are. It's coming through in technology. And if we really keep relationship and our connection with people and celebrating the amazing, diverse gifts that we have on the planet, using technology to bring it all together, we can solve some really big problems.
We can. I
You know?
believe you.
So it's about the relationship.
Always.
That's the soul.
That's the soul.
And the music of it all, right?
That is so beautifully said. Oh, I didn't tell you. We're in Portland, baby. That's why we're wearing our hats.
It's like sunny here. It's like beautiful.
It's amazing.
But what came through me, it was like a birth. That's all I can say is.
I understand that.
It's like a calling. I mean, I wish if I had your voice, I'd be singing. But actually, I'm kind of a facilitator. I came up with the idea for Living the Potential Network back in 1997. And it keeps evolving, and it's really living the potential. Well, people go, well, what's the potential? I go, well, it's what we all tap into. It's not mine, it's not yours, it's not even ours. It's the, which includes all of nature. That's why we're outside today.
Yeah.
Because we got to get back to the garden.
Having some wonderful ginger beer.
Yeah, exactly. Non-alcoholic, of course. And
What?
so we get back to the idea of this connection of the potential that we're all part of, that when we get in it together, and it's like intergenerational. So I see business, entrepreneurial parents, youth, solving some issues that need to be solved. It seems the thing that people are most interested in right now is how are we going to solve this climate chaos that we've got going on.
Yeah.
So the program of the 5 steps is going into some courses you'll see on my website,
Nice.
livingthepotential.com, a 21st century mentoring program where each of these 5 steps are designed into courses.
Yeah, okay.
And then there's mastermind that goes along with that. And then
So you're starting the parents out and the cross connect, the business people.
Yes.
You're starting them out in a mastermind.
Yeah.
That's so powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
And young people getting that opportunity to work together to create.
Exactly.
For everybody that's collaborating
Right.
to creating. That's powerful.
Exactly, because I think the business people, as I say in my book also, that they're kind of part of that. They're waiting for the kids to graduate so they have someone to hire. So waiting on them to come off this conveyor belt.
Right.
And the reality of it is kids, when they're well nourished and the seeds of possibility are recognized sooner in life, like around age 11, they kind of know what they wanted. They're curious and they think I want to do this.
Yeah.
Sometimes the adults around them go, oh no, you can't do that, whatever. But my thought is, what if you said, that's an interesting idea. Let's discover more.
Yes.
Where might we go to find out whether that's a good fit for you? I'd like Living the Potential to be that place where people can come and meet mentors from all different walks, and the kids who are curious about learning from them have a place to go. And those people that have been through the program understand how to be with kids in a way where it's reciprocal.
Yes.
Like
they're
when
not telling them.
Right, because like in this book, when I tell the story about these were kids in Canada that were part of the Wonder Tree program, it was founded by my mentor Brent Cameron. the major corporation, BC Hydro, when they met with the kids, they had heard about them. They had been written up in the paper for all kinds of awards they had won. And so they thought, well, we want this game, but should we go to these consultants and pay them $200,000 to design a game? It's actually for kids. Why don't we go talk to the kids and ask them what they want? So they went and they talked to the kids, but the kids knew how to manage that exchange with a major company because they had been running their learning program as a project, like a project management team.
Wow.
So they
That's
were
impressive.
so amazed. They were so amazed they gave them a check, $75,000 up front, right? So I think more and more environments can happen, and the teachers need help, the schools need support. Most people don't know how to bridge that gap with business in a way that create real-world projects, and I think our mentoring program can, in the ways in which we're facilitating the 5 steps, it can happen in a business, it can happen in a school, it can happen with a group of parents that are self-organizing.
Yes.
It can happen lots of ways. What we know to be true is that there's an unfolding nature of discovering our gifts and talent.
Yes.
And if the teachers were supported in becoming like guides on the side instead of the sage on the stage, we don't have to deliver curriculum like we used to.
Right.
Because we have Google and Wikipedia and the kids can go. I mean, they become, so excited to go on the search for what they need to know as opposed to being told what they need to know.
Exactly. Because there was a school system in San Diego that I loved what they had started to do, that they would watch the children, they'd have them working with math and science and art and just different things, and geology, and to see what intrigued them.
Right, exactly.
And from that, so it's definitely not your program, but it's the start of changing people's.
Yeah, it's part of the network of people. I think you're talking about High Tech High.
Yes.
In San Diego. Yeah, because I just came from the AERO conference, which is Alternative Education Resource Organization, where it's really about the education revolution. We've got to do it.
We need it.
We've got to do education
We're
differently.
doing it. You're doing it. You're
well,
part of
yeah,
it.
and there's a whole team of people that are doing unique things around the world. And again, Living the Potential Network wants to be a resource that kind of taps into, you need this program. We're actually...
I like that. So you're at the hub where people would be able to come to you as a one-stop.
Yeah, well, that's the vision. I mean, well, again, this is
the universe says yes.
Yeah. Well, the book was a calling, and what is happening for the people reading the book, they're realizing it's like a roadmap. Like, okay, I can go there, and perhaps some new direction will show up on where I can go as a teacher or a parent or my kids, my students, my learners. Just be a resource to help people find their way of the next best thing, because we don't have to wait. I'm on the board of a group called Village Home Education Resource Center. It's here in Portland. Villagehome.org. They now
have the links below.
Yeah, and they have 3 campuses, and it's all about young people deciding what it is that they want to learn. They choose their classes, they choose the teachers, they show up, the parents can be there too. It's kind of like they're in the driver's seat of their learning at a much earlier age. And what happens with that, Gino, is that young people, they become, you see a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old, they're really confident.
Yes.
They know what they want to do. They're on their way.
Yeah.
And we don't question it. Then something happens when we put them in a classroom where they have to conform to what everybody else is doing. You know that saying, you don't need to be anybody else. You be yourself because everybody else is taken, right?
Exactly. With people like you, Renee, that are opening up at the top, because it's not about looking at the system, to me, trying to reinvent the system. I'm really about, let's say, okay, that's done. We've done that.
Right.
Let's start new.
Right. And it starts with the people.
It
so
does.
if we're planting the seed, let's say if we're planting a garden, going back to the garden.
Going back to the garden.
Going back into the garden. Because it ties into, if people reconnect to nature, let's say take your kids camping or go on a hike and hug a tree or whatever you need to do, but when you get back into nature, you suddenly, whether you're aware of it or not, you start to recognize or feeling like there's an unfolding process. It's like an acorn that becomes an oak tree. When you look at that little acorn, you go, does that look like an oak tree? No way. But what does it need? It needs a fertile environment for it to unfold what it's becoming.
What it's becoming.
And that's what our children are here. I got this picture a while ago. I just want to share it with you.
Please.
It's called Listen to the Children. And it's this young girl holding a crystal surrounded by all kinds of stars and so forth. And it says, listen to the children. I bought this at an auction quite a while ago. But the thing is the world is in trouble. And my thought keeps being, but what if the children have the answer?
I believe they are the answer. And I would go as far as to say that the world is in the birthing womb, that we are reinventing ourselves, that we are moving into a space, as Star Trek would say, into consciousness.
Yeah, exactly.
Into working from a space of consciousness rather than the action-orientated way we've been accustomed to working.
Right. Well, you have to start with a sense of being. It's like, once we recognize who we are being, and then the doing, and then the having.
It's inspired.
Right. But in our society, it's kind of like they went to the doing to have, and then people are going, well, wait a second, who am I? So who am I is the being place. So if we really help cultivate that a little sooner in a nourishing environment where we trust the seeds of change that our youth bring, which means they're naturally curious, they want to discover, what do they want to know? So if you are working with youth in any capacity right now, the most important thing we need to do is meet them where they are and uncover what they're most interested in and see how they're going about it or what they need to have in order to pursue what they're naturally interested in.
So let me ask you, I'm a parent, and I see this and I go, okay, wow. I don't know where to start, but I like what you're saying. I believe, I look at my child and I see it. You know, they're struggling, they're not happy in school, but I know they're a creative child, they're gifted. What would my step be after I call you? How would you help?
Okay, call me.
Yeah.
I would say let's have a conversation about what you know to be true, what's really working well, and that you know, because it's kind of like from the moment that child came into your life, you knew that, no doubt about it, it's a unique being, and there's a genius there. Everyone has it. It's like we unfold what that is over time, and our job as parents and teachers, I think, is to witness that and allow it to come forward by just being and playful. That's the other thing.
Playful, I love that.
Let's get playful. Like when your child was small, you were on the floor crawling with your kid, right?
Yes.
And then they got a little bigger and they stopped playing or having fun. I say, take them out to nature, get connected, get some quiet time, and maybe, you know, even around a campfire where you're making s'mores, you know, with your marshmallows and your chocolate and your graham crackers, and you're having conversations face to face. Is if you create the space, they will show up into it. But if you have the fear that it's your job to make your kid something in order to keep up with the Joneses or whatever that might be, the reality of it is let go of the fear, look inside, and allow yourself to see the brilliance of your child that's so unique. And your job then is to say, oh, let's figure this out. Even if you think you know the answer, say, that's a great question. Let's find out. What should we do next?
Wow.
Just be able to have questions to allow them to guide you. Because that's the other thing. Every time I see parents with their kids, I always stop them and say, what a beautiful being who chose to come through you into your family. And I wonder what he is going to teach you or what she is going to teach you. And they kind of look at me like, what? They're going to teach me? And I go, yeah. And actually, I'll tell you this. Do I have time to tell this story?
Yes.
I do this all the time. And I was coming back from a walk at the beach, and I was coming up next to a car, and a family was putting their child, probably 3.5 years, maybe 4 years, in a car seat, in the back seat. And the father was putting a bike on the back of the car, and the mother was, you know, getting their kid in the back seat. And I just had to peek in and go, ooh, who's that? She goes, that's Peyton. I went, hey, Peyton, how are you? He goes, fine. I go, did you take your parents to the beach today? He goes, yep. I said, wow, what did you learn? And he showed me his little shovel and his new boots, and we talked about the waves, and I said, wow, what a fun day. That's so exciting. And I looked up to the mother. I said, you got quite a young man here. She goes, yep, we got another one on the way. And I said, wow. I said, this one's your teacher. She goes, well, he didn't come with a handbook.
Wow.
Like, I have to figure this out.
Yeah.
I got another one coming. I said, well, the good news is he's here to teach you. And the father is like laughing in the back and everything. I said, so Peyton, I gotta go. I got in my car and I said, it was so nice to meet you. And then my intuition said, go back and ask that young man something. So I went back and I said, Peyton, just curious, do you have anything that you would like to share with me? What's one thing you think I need to know right now? He's looking around and he said, patience. And I said, really? Patience? And he goes, yep. And I said, that's really something. I said, do you mind if I ask you, what does that mean? What does patience mean? And he looked at me and he said, be still.
I love the story. What's something you want to share with a teacher that's struggling out there, or with a parent or a business person? What's something that you will give them to inspire them?
Wow. Well, I think trust yourself that what you're most passionate about is like, that's a gift that you have to share. And as a teacher, you chose the teaching path to support the youth in really bringing forward who they are to their life. And whatever obstacles are in the way of stopping you, so many people are going through burnout because they feel alone. My thought is we can change the system by working together. And parents, I know that you many times want to be more involved in what your children are up to and kids are up to, but sometimes
you want to run it. Stop it.
Right. And sometimes you're trying to figure out, like, well, how do I do this? Like, I don't know how to partner with my son's or daughter's teachers. I don't know enough. They know more. All of it. I thought, wait a second. Just stop and do your own personal inventory. Your zone of genius as humans, what is it that you're passionate about? How would you like to bring that into a community type conversation? Many of your parents are also business owners, entrepreneurs, and you've got like, I'd love to have kids involved in my business, maybe do an internship or an apprenticeship, but I don't know how to set that up. But you want to be a part of helping the youth be better prepared for the future that they are inheriting. And I believe that some of the programs we're putting together will engage you in bringing together this quality of conversation. I'm doing some programs called Podlux.
I love that.
It's a podluck because it's like an example of an invitation. It's like peas in a pod. So the idea of getting back to nature and close to nature and working and speaking and conversing in a pod, we start to hear each other, and we call it the we conversations, which stands for wisdom engagement. The we conversations in these podlucks, where we actually have fabulous food, delicious discussions, and savory solutions. Because the solutions are in the space. And I want to bring it back to the power of the community, common unity. We can find a place to meet. We've got facilitators that will support, and engaging the people to become more aware, with the youth having a voice. And then from there, we can have what I'm calling the garden experiment, where we do workshops and we actually put together some programs and solutions that we can then integrate into the systems that need our support. Schools can't change on their own.
No.
Kids need our help.
And we need their help.
Yeah, we need them. They need us. And now's the time.
It is.
So
this is a powerful time.
I invite people to trust yourself, that you have part of the solution. It's like having your special puzzle piece, and if you don't show up, the whole puzzle ain't going to come together.
Exactly. So that's a call going out to everyone, to parents, teachers, business people, mentors. This program, I know it's based in Portland right now, but I see it all over.
Actually, we're going to Washington, D.C.
Oh, so look at that
like,
already.
I know. It's like, well, okay, there's a hotbed going on, all right? We're in the midst of elections and a big election year coming up, but there's a group of mentors that are coming together that want to be able to facilitate these kinds of conversations.
I love it.
So we're doing a launch in August in Washington, D.C., if you want more information.
That's going to be in the webpage?
It'll be on the website. And you may want to have the same kind of event happen in your location, or organic environment where we can duplicate what we're doing in Washington, D.C. We'll be doing it in Portland.
Oh,
we'll probably
awesome.
be going to San Diego. You're going to be there.
Look at that. I'll be there in San Diego. Yeah.
Right. So we're going to go where the people feel the call and go, I want to. What if we did that here? Give me a call. We can figure that out.
Yeah, keep me in the loop. I definitely Renee, keep me in the loop. So you heard it. You know, this is our time. This time now is so powerful because out of the chaos, there
order.
is yes. And you know, we tried to do it in a more gentle way, but people didn't think it was urgent enough. So now the trees are rumbling and it's shaking, baby. It's on you. We have to sing our song out. We are stardust. We are golden. We have to get back to the garden. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love you, Renee. This was so awesome, really, for you to be here today. So awesome. Remember, we are one. We hold a vision. We are creating our here and now. Just you and me. Just you and me. I'll see you next week on Pass the Mic. And remember, you are a part of this world. What you put out is what you get back. So it's time, baby. Do your thing. We have a PayPal button below if you want to support the channel. Please leave a comment. Understand your gift to this world. Renee has said yes. Oh, am I grateful. Thank you.
I'm grateful for you. Thank you, everyone.